button is pushed.
The button is pushed on episode 58 of Ladies Wot Pod, here on an absolutely filthy Monday evening. I don't know what it's like in Cambridgeshire, but here in South Northants, it is vile. It's just raining and grey, and thank goodness January's nearly over. Anyway, I am a little ray of sunshine. I will be positive. My name is Lis Saunders, and I am half of Ladies Wot Pod, and I am also chairman of the Saint Supporters Club, and I do a bit of walking rugby, very little bit of walking rugby, and I'm a chief halo and general all-round rugby nose, I think is how we describe it. Friend to international touch judges as well. Must add that in, I feel now, after Paris. And Mrs. Jones, if you'd like to introduce yourself to our listening dozens.
Listening and viewing cousins, yes. I am Claire Jones, owner of a red hat, usually found with a camera stuck to my face because I'm one of the team of club photographers at Northampton Saints, our beloved club. And yes, I am in north of Cambridge, on the edge of the Fens. And actually, it's quite a nice evening here. The sun is setting. We had a huge thunderstorm earlier and it's cheered up a bit now.
Oh, well, no. The sun might well be setting, but you wouldn't know. It's just getting darker. Anyway, let's start with a real blast of sunshine, I think is the only way to describe it. Lightning bolt of sun. Do you have a lightning bolt of sunshine? Of course you can't. Don't be ridiculous. Anyway, lightning threw their bolts out on Saturday at Pooh Corner at Welford Road and absolutely demolished Tigers. Absolutely. I mean, 61-12. That is a demolition of monumental descriptions, I think.
I fortunately I got to see it in my haze after the previous night, having got back very late, and they played some beautiful rugby, nilled Tigers in the second half, put 35 points on them, and it was just brilliant. It was like they got out the previous week out of their system and just went for it, hammer and tongs. There was no let up, and it was great. It was a great bit of rugby to watch. It was fabulous, and well done to TNT, because I thought their broadcast was actually very good. So
catch up with it.
Yeah.
So that means the women hold the bragging rights home and away, don't they?
They hold it home and away. We knew exactly how Nathan Smith felt about things because you could hear him. Well, there goes Nathan again. The microphones had no trouble picking up Mr. Smith in full voice. I thought they all played brilliantly, and several of the girls that we talked to last summer had excellent games. The depth in that squad is fantastic. But I think the woman who played the best, and given she's had a bit of a rough time of it recently with annoying injuries, was Helena Rowland. Oh my Lord, the boot on that woman on Saturday. She was hammering it, and beautiful.
Excellent.
Played beautifully. So if we were to have a Ladies Wot Pod, women's player of the match, in my world, it would go to Helena. The official one went to Rachel Malcolm, who we all adore. But I think on Saturday it was Helena she was the difference, chalk and cheese between the two teams. So yeah, really, really good game of rugby, and and the fact they kept going, they didn't back off and think, oh well, we've won it, home team. They just kept pile driving on, and very good.
No, I'm so happy for them, because they've had some upsets, haven't they, this season so far? Sort of highs and more lows than highs, but that's a hell of a one to do, and well done Well done, ladies, girls, ladies,
Yeah,
women.
any team in the Saints family winning against the Tigers.
The Tigers
is
team.
all right by us. East Midlands
Tiddlywinks.
bragging rights need to come to the Gardens.
Tiddlywinks, drafts, anything.
Anything.
If you're playing for Saints against Tigers, anything. Yeah.
And it will be interesting to see, without skipping ahead too far, but they actually go to Bristol Bears, who lost at Ealing on Saturday. So that should be an interesting game, to say the least. So well done to Nathan, Charlie, and his cohort. I'm sure Rachel had a much happier Saturday evening than the previous Sunday. Because it was all off the back of a short turnaround as well. It wasn't as if, it was...
no, that's very true.
Yeah. So brilliant play. Meanwhile, on a slope somewhere in Bedfordshire...
When you say slope, on a mountainside.
Yes, somewhere in Bedfordshire, famed for its mountains, at Goldington Road, Bedford Blues beat Coventry. Now, Coventry are the only team that have applied to move up to the Gallagher Premiership, but at the moment they're in third, behind Bedford Blues. Bedford Blues hadn't beaten Coventry since before COVID, so it was a really significant victory. One with the last play of the game. What is it about teams that we support and last plays of the game? Dear Lord. Anyway.
All trying to, yeah.
But yeah, so second place. Talk about punching above your weight. I mean, that is, a mighty effort.
That is really good. Yeah.
So well done to the Blues boys. Finn Brown was playing flanker. So Finn was playing flanker. I'm going to have forgotten somebody, and then Sherpa 2's going to ring me up. Okay, Ryan Robinson saying you forgot such and such, but I made a point of looking for Finn, and he was there. So well done, Finn. Great work. And then we need to move on to the other match on Friday.
The other match. Okay, I'm going to get my rant. I'm going to get my rant out.
I'm just going to sit back. I'm just have a quick drink,
Yeah,
right,
just everybody. If you,
I'm sitting back in my chair while she lets rip.
Anybody, if you want to go and make a cup of tea or something now's the time to do it. Because honestly, why? We've got a reduced league anyway. We're down to 10 teams. Why on earth are these matches being played without England internationals? It's a bloody joke. It really is. Even on TNT, they were saying this is ridiculous. This should have been such a highlight for the game, for Smith versus Smith. It should have been huge, and it wasn't. For the purists, it was still good, but we were so stripped of internationals and injury. It's just bloody madness, absolute madness to continue to play these games. Thank goodness it was against Quins, who were similarly down with numbers, not as many as ours, but and it wasn't Bristol again, who seemed to lose nobody or very few. So, and it makes it. You also think, what is the point of bringing on the England players, as we have done, which is absolutely fantastic, and I'm really pleased for the lads, only to then penalise the club because we've got so many England players. Right, that's it now. I feel better now.
I called Alex Sanderson Pat last week. Sorry, Alex. I had sympathy with Alex Sanderson, who had not only lost 8 players to England, he also was facing Bath, who had Finn Russell still on the pitch.
Yeah.
It's a joke, and it's not a very funny joke. They also had to battle Carl Dixon, and Mr. Sanderson accused himself of sour grapes. But seriously, Carl, one of the tries.
I never thought I'd say this, but Alex Sanderson, I'm right behind you on this one.
Yes. Finn, it was quick thinking by Mr. Russell. He hoofed the ball downfield, having looked at his left or right wing, can't remember which one it was, who then haired off down the field and went through to score. except that it was 5 metres ahead. Well, it was several metres ahead of where it should have been and further in field from where it should have been. Yeah. No. For those of you watching on YouTube, my video's jumping again, and I don't know why. And frankly, the Rolls Royce of software is...
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, just a little flicker
sure
now and again. I am
it's
not
you. You haven't,
like a, yeah,
you haven't got hiccups or anything, no?
I haven't got hiccups. So I'd like to start with well done to TNT for that little film, singing the praises of our academy. There were many other names that you could have added to the list of notables that came through the academy and continue to come through the academy, including the ones that were on the show on Friday night. But, well done for Hoppers getting his moment because, it's a very well-run setup there, and it was great that he could, he could have a conversation with Mr. Delalio, who rightly was singing the praises of our academy. And, to see the likes of George and Henry and George talking about, how they've come through and following in the footsteps of others who came through the academy, that it's part of our, I hate the phrase DNA, but it is part of us. That's what we do. I think was fabulous. So
doing
well
things
done.
the Saints way.
That's the sort of little film that's interesting, and it doesn't always have to be about us, but more of the same, TNT, because that gives you insight into,
it was good.
Into the game.
It was really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for those of you who thought that was filmed about 50 years ago, I believe it was filmed last Monday, just as we were podding earlier in the day. They had been interviewing the players because they came in because it was a short week to the Friday. So just before Mr. Pollock was whisked off to
that's right,
Girona,
because we were saying how pleased we were that he wasn't going to England, and then he went, but then now he's back. So
now he's back and back with the under-20. So peace, love, and happiness.
But again, why the blinking heck did he have to go to Girona to hold tackle bags for a week instead of shoring up our back line against Queens?
Well, quite.
Anyway,
so,
moving.
Queens...
Just quick mention to the England under-20s while we're at it, otherwise we'll forget about them.
Oh yes.
So we got four going to under-20s, and they
I'm going to go Cave, isn't it? Ollie Scola, who's looking remarkably like George Makepeace Cubitt, which is confusing the hell out of me.
Panicked you. That panicked you.
Like, George, you can't go. Yes, he can't go because he's too old.
Too old.
Ollie, you're okay. You're going. And he's on the bench this week. Hopefully, please let somebody bring him on.
Please let him.
Please.
Let him have a go. Doesn't matter.
Let him have a go. And of course, the lovely Henry, who was delightful, but when he was being interviewed on that little film we were just talking about,
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he came over very much as himself, didn't he? He's a smashing young man. And
it was lovely when he said thank you to Delalio when Delalio congratulated him about being a Premiership winner. Yes, and he said thank you.
And then, well, not really. Yeah. And that's Henry. He's the people like Austin say, he needs to be kept in his place. He doesn't. He knows exactly. He's just a lad living his best life, to be honest. He's
talking of people who need to be kept in their place. Austin, you're not the ref. You clearly don't understand the high tackle law. You had to be told. So 1 minute James Ram within 2 minutes was going to be cooling his heels, and the next minute it's no try, and it's drop out under the posts. Seriously, mate.
It does say,
and it was a really good tackle. That was the other thing.
It was a brilliant tackle.
It was brilliant tackle. 2 minutes earlier, then it's a really good tackle by the end. It's like, Austin, pack it in. You're not a ref. Let Luke do the job because he knows what he's doing, unlike you.
So Friday. Have we finished ranting? Do you think about Friday?
No, I'm going to one of those days.
Special mention, I have to say, special mention, while we're on the England under-20s, special mention to Archie and GMC, our halfback partnership, who were, their combined ages was a year older than Danny Claire is.
Well, Will Glister I was so annoyed that Will Glister wasn't half the age of Lee Halfpenny, both 23s.
Oh, that would have been really good. Yes.
So
We're back in.
We're back in. Liz basically had Greatest Hits radio suddenly start playing over her headphones, which was a bit weird, but there you go. Not influenced by me. But anyway, we switched everything off and switched it back on again.
We got IT. My IT department was involved.
Well, you've sent him off to make tea now. So
I have now. It's more use.
So England.
So we're back now.
England under-20s. They play Ireland on Thursday this week. So funny time of the week. It's on BBC iPlayer for those of you who like watching it. So yes, I will be settling down to watch, because that was the game that we talked to our dear friend Ash Rowden about, because the 90-second end of the game play last season, which denied Anyway, we're not going there. It denied England a Grand Slam. Yes. So hopefully it's as good a game this year as it was last year.
Yes. So and I think
go back to Queen's. Or,
yes. I think I made. If I'm repeating myself, I'm terribly sorry, because I'm not sure where it all fell apart. But say special mention to Archie McParland and GMC George Makepeace-Cubitt, who were combined ages were just a year older than Danny Clare's age, and Mrs. Jones was saying she was quite sad that Will Glister wasn't half the age of Lee Halfpenny, who really should be Lee Halfpenny, I feel, for those of a certain age. And that would have been brilliant, but it was not to be. But I've made the error of reading some of the social media, and will you just get it into your heads? Archie is 19. As a 19-year-old scrum half, he has got more about him than Mitch had at 19. Stop comparing him with the 27-year-old Mitch, who is, yes, arguably one of the best scrum halves in the world now, but he wasn't at 19, and Archie won't be at 19. Archie will be, more than likely will be, and possibly sooner than Mitch did. But at the moment, you're comparing apples and pears, and just pack it in. He's a lovely young lad, and he's coming on in leaps and bounds and learning some tough lessons. So
yeah, and he played beautifully on Friday. Absolutely beautifully. Every time he steps out onto the pitch, you can see the confidence in him growing. He's pairing up very nicely with George Makepeace-Cubitt, who had his own horror show at Chinnock in the mud, and came bouncing back from that. That first try where he made the break that put Tarek away.
Yes.
And then through for Tom Pearson to score was exceptional. Really, really good young player who's 20. So come on, guys. Give him a minute.
Cut him some slack.
Yeah. And it's not that they played badly, because they didn't. They played really well. Dr. T noticed at the end of the game, and I'm really cross I didn't, because I should have got a photo of it, but Danny Clare put his arm round Archie and had a chat with him, just like a certain Mr. Dan Bigger did with Finn when he played for Worcester. And in Finn's case, he just had 50, 60 points put on his team. But they had a good chat, and that's what we want to see from the senior players in the game, bringing on the youngsters. So I thought GMC and Archie were great on Friday. Really, really good. Played well, played the way we want to play, the Saints way, and did really well. So keep going, lads. You're going in the right direction. What struck me was we learned a lot of the lessons from Paris.
Yes, the line-out.
I'd like to, I'd like a particular praise for James Craig, because the Tom Lockett debriefing process is clearly working, because Tom and James, clearly, before the game there were deep conversations going on. After the game there was a repeat of the deep conversation. It's working because the line-out was secure, and they were up against some pretty good line-out stealers on Friday.
They were
some guys who are used to nicking ball. So well done to Tom and Josh Kemeny and Henry Walker, who was covered in blood when he came off. He was battered, bless him. He put everything into that game. So well done. I think they'd learnt their lessons from Paris, and it's great that they had an opportunity to learn so fast. I thought Luke Pearce refereed the game even with much empathy, unlike the person in the frozen north. I thought he was great. I think there were knock-ons everywhere. There was stuff kicking off all over the place. It was a bit helter-skelter, but he was desperately trying to keep it flowing. The one time when I thought Quins really did take the pee was the okey cokey in the second half between the two locks where they were deciding which one was going to come off. And we had about 4 attempts. Now, free kick them. They won't do it again. Yeah. Would you like to? They're in the bloody cold while they're having is it this one or that one? Ridiculous. Irony of ironies was, of course, they lost a line out. Anyway, we scored for it.
Would you like to share your conversation with Mr. Pearce before the start of the game? Because if you recall, he got our Sgt Wilson award for speaking nicely to himself. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So I did have a brief chat with Luke because he's very affable.
Very nice. Yeah.
Really nice guy, and suggested that you could win it again, which caused much hilarity on his part. Actually, he's certainly one of the names on the to be mentioned list because I think he had a really, really good game. But we will award it in a minute.
So we will, yes.
We'll award it in a minute. It was heartbreaking what happened at the end. We just ran out of steam a bit. And the shape went, and it was, and so it was heartbreaking to just come away with a point when it should have been 4. But fair dues to Quins; they took their opportunities. Damn them. And we will learn lessons. The best thing is every teenager and 20-year-old who's on that pitch could be a George Hendy. We're now talking about George Hendy as if he's 90.
He's 23.
Or a Tom Lockett, 22. Yeah.
I may have aged George Hendy, actually.
I think he's 22.
I think he's only 22.
I think he's 22. But these guys are now. Tom Seabrook. Oh, that old man on the wing. Yes, who again had a very assured game. So absolutely. So all those minutes that they get in these games are very valuable. But it should not be the case that both teams were as depleted as they were. Seriously, as our director of rugby rightly said, it's bonkers. Because it is. It's utterly bonkers. So the Ladies Wot Pod Player of the Match, you very kindly deferred to me.
I did. I think because I watched the first half. I had to go to the loo at one point, which meant they scored a try. So that works even when I'm not at the ground. Just thought I'd like to point that out. And I just thought they obviously play better when I'm not watching them. So I came in here to do stuff, but it didn't work. So I tried to do my bit. But I did watch the first half. But I felt that you, Mrs. J, being ringside, as it were, would. And from what I saw, I agree with you. So
the Ladies Wot Pod Player of the Match for this week is Tarek Afar.
Yes.
He was on fire.
He was very good.
Ball carrying was outstanding. His scrummaging was absolutely on point. I'm sure Fergs would have been purring after that. And he just kept going. He was like a Duracell bunny. Just kept fighting through. But it's a double award for Tarek because we're also going to give him the Sgt Wilson Award for his very polite conversation with Luke when he scored his try.
Would you like to show the picture?
So here is, well, you can't really see much of Tarek, but Luke and Tarek are having a little chat. There you go.
Was quite funny on the telly where you could just hear Luke going, I can't remember, it was don't move your hands, or everybody slowly move your hands away. Keep your hands where I can see them, but move them away. It's like an LA cop. And then to discover that the last pair of hands was Tarek's. So that was brilliant.
A beautifully scored try. So there we go. Let's see. Oh, there he is in the build up to the try. So yeah, so well done, Tarek. It was, you had an absolutely outstanding game. So yeah, well done.
And on the Sgt Wilson front,
she's going to have a quick rant again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telegraphing this one.
No, this. Oi, Graham McKechnie, find your own parallels, because you've never mentioned Sgt Wilson before, and suddenly, whenever you're talking to either Ferbs or Dingers, you mention Sgt Wilson. No, that's a Ladies Wot Pod simile, not yours. Find your own. There we go. Have it now.
It's true, though. It's true.
Yeah.
It is true. Yes. Yes. I think is Tarek the first prop to win it?
Can I hear the sound of dinner being prepared?
Yeah, so no, Dr. Jones is reorganising the kitchen. Obviously, enough plates haven't been put away, so he's.
I think it might be.
I think he is. Well done, Tarek.
Curtis has won it a couple of times, hasn't he? But I think he might be the first prop. Yeah.
It's unlikely to be Big Trev.
I said Big Trev. We'd have no idea, really. Love you, Big Trev. But...
Oh, I have to confess here, although Dr. Jones will stitch me up. Because I said, well, I'm really pleased in the car on the way home. You could tell how tired I was. I'm really pleased we rested Big Trev this week. And Tim went, what?
I'm sorry. Hello. What did you think was...
And then I thought, why did I say that? I've got some really good photos of Trev carrying the ball. In fact, the build-up to Tarek's try, it's Trev who sets it all up. So what was I on? Yeah. Anyway, there you go. Oh, long night. Right, now... It is going to be one of those ranty ones, because the next thing on our list is Bill Sweeney.
Yes.
On the Good, the Bad and the Rugby podcast. Seriously, mate. I think he needs to go on a self-awareness course.
I think at very least.
I had to take my bonus. They made me.
They made me.
Allowed to take it later. Absolute codswallop. As Slop in the Times pointed out, the lady from Thames Water deferred hers. Trouble was, she then doubled up. Anyway, we won't go there. There were a number of instances where Mr. Sweeney, seriously, mate, I wasn't involved in this. He became the Arsene Wenger of every major decision that's happened in the RFU in the last year. Yeah. No, we're not having that. Stand by what you decided. Do not.
I was going to say,
weave.
If his involvement was as little as he was claiming, what the bloody hell has he been doing then that we've been paying vast amounts of money for? I was not impressed. I think the looks on the faces of the three of Tins and Hask and Alex Payne were quite entertaining. Obviously, he's never going to go up against three incisive questioning journalists, but I thought Tins made a really good point about one of the targets they had to reach was a 90%, 97% or 90% win level, but it was the combined of the women's, the under-20s and the men's teams. And as Tyndall said, so you've included the women who take the least out of the RFU as one of your targets. So, if they win, you get your bonus that would probably keep them afloat for the next 12 years or something. So you just, there's something really rotten in the state of the RFU. And wasn't Will Carling right? Nothing has changed. Still the old farts.
The interesting bit, though, that was about.
Oh, I missed that bit. I might have dropped off at that point.
Well, no, he did give. There was one little interesting bit which actually cheered me up a bit, which was about the Championship or Premiership 2, as it was described on the podcast. Although we're not going to call it that, it's still the Championship. And apparently there are 17 clubs that have applied who aren't currently in the Championship.
Oh, yeah.
There are 17 that have applied, and it might not necessarily be the case that it would be one of your Worcesters, your London Irishes, or your Wasps that gets picked. That was the moment I went, oh, that's interesting. I wonder who's applied.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Interesting.
But either way, no. And the other thing I found quite interesting was the Championship Rugby podcast contacted Wayne Barnes very politely to say, "Dear Wayne, come and have a chat. Because some of this shouldn't be in the public domain. One or two things we need to explain to you." Because he actually published the letter that was behind a paywall in the Telegraph on X. And the Championship Rugby podcast wanted to explain a few things. Because I think, So this one will run and run, as they say.
I think so. Yes, that was that. What was I going to say? It's just thrown me off course completely now. Just thinking of films of things. How old is old? That was a bit depressing, wasn't it? For those of you who haven't seen, every so often England Rugby sends out these little films of players. Something intrigues me. We've got millions of players, it seems, supposedly in the England camp, who never seem to be interviewed for these sort of things. I think Fremo was on it, but
Fremo was on his bicycle being interviewed.
Yeah,
and I did like Henry Slay's. Do you know how old Henry Pollock is? 2005. Yes. Yeah. But the issue was, even some of the older ones, for them, old was 1992.
Yeah.
No.
That's not. She was older than that.
There was much discussion on Friday evening amongst various family members of the Saints squad about no was the same response. Yes.
It's quite depressing, really. Moving swiftly on, Tom Seabrook, the flying Super Seabrook, got try of the round with his third try against Munster. Deservedly so, with a fantastic flying Seabrook.
The fantastic flying Seabrook, who absolutely, it was a wonderful try. Absolutely wonderful try. But the thing we need to find out, and I will be talking to him when I go to training this week, is did he get a watch? Because it used to be that if you won that, you got a Tissot watch. Yeah, forget your zebras.
That's better than zebra.
Your Tissot watch. I mean, that's got to be better than a zebra.
Especially this season's zebra that's all wrong. Looks like a pet toy rather than a cuddly zebra. Don't hold with that at all.
I had the misfortune, stupidly, to watch a bit of a podcast, and I've now lost what it was. An Irish podcast, which talks about. There we go. It's the RTE Rugby Podcast. Now, boys and girls. Yes, it was Neil Tracy. I was joined by Bernard Jackman and John Murphy. Is it John and Murphy or is it John Murphy? I never know. Anyway, they were talking about the final round of games and what's going to happen next in the Investec Champions Cup and the issues with the format. So I thought, this will be interesting. My God. What a bunch of entitled, self-centred... Seriously.
Don't hold back. Say what you think.
Well, it is ranting day.
It is very much ranting day.
I was thinking, this is interesting. Yeah. So the issue about poor old Quins having to go to Croke Park is, will they sell all the tickets? Not Leinster are playing at home every bloody game before they go to Cardiff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again.
Poor old Ulster are going to go to Bordeaux. Well, yes, at least they're travelling away. Yes.
There you go.
I won't be making that mistake again. I mean, I thought,
No.
you know,
I was going to say,
to hear
can I just, I think you might have need of this if you're going to be.
I think actually the good burgers of Belfast,
The blood pressure machine.
Ulster's performance against Zebra. Ooh, in the URC.
Ooh. Actually, the weekend, there was some quite, apart from ours, there were some quite pleasing results otherwise. Gloucester Tigers, looking at you. Exeter actually managed to win against Saracens. That was good. That was good.
But again, Saracens, oh dear. Yeah.
Well, even Mark McCall is now saying, why are we playing? Why are we playing games?
It's funny that. Yeah, he's noticed after all these years.
Notice now he doesn't have a squad, 2 sets of 15 of internationals.
A shout out to Mark Smith, our dear friend, the communications manager at Newcastle Falcons, who quietly said, "Here, TNT, in your review show, you could have showed a couple of our tries because they were really quite good." I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, I was going to, what was the score? Was it 55-35?
Oh, they were in it right until quite late on.
Yeah.
No,
fair play to them.
Not a sniff from TNT about Newcastle. Anyway.
And that is, well, as we know, such a hard place to go and win. So.
Yes. And the weather wasn't particularly clement.
Never is.
Yeah. So, Towcester under 10s?
Towcester under 10s, yes, we do have a little offering from our correspondent, just by way of explanation. Because there's so many of them, they were due to play Long Buckby and another side, who I can't remember who it was, but the other side then cancelled, and Long Buckby said, we haven't got enough to play all 40 of you, so we'll only take 20 or something. So they split it in two, and our Harry was doing training at Toes, which I think he enjoyed. So they did a training match and he seemed to enjoy it. So we will hear from him now.
Today I played really well and I got some tackles and I did a try and I got very muddy on my leg and on both my legs and very muddy on my jumper. And I played very well and we did a very long match, and when we were doing the tackling practice, I had to do it against Freddie, so that didn't go very well. I was in the mud a lot. Bye-bye.
I say he's a slick operator, isn't he, Harry?
Yes. And
well done,
when
Harry.
the lad he's talking about in that film, Freddie, who he was up against, Freddie's probably must be now 5 foot.
Oh my lord! Oh, so he really was. Oh gosh!
Oh, he's a lovely lad, but he's not small by any means. So yes.
What freaks me out is when moustaches and beards start appearing when they're about 13 or 14. It's like, whoa, no,
yes.
I'm not ready for that. No.
Yeah, I could remember watching my son playing under 15s, I think, against somebody, and I say to one of the other mums, could we chop that lad's leg off and count the rings, because he looks about 35, not under 15. It was very disconcerting. Very disconcerting. Anyway, so that was the under 10s, and the under 7s were at Long Buckby, and the international man of mystery deigned to give us a report. So here he is.
So Granny Gingy, I didn't feel very well, but I did get somebody's tag and I almost scored a try.
He knows. He does, doesn't he? He knows. He is.
Yes, so despite
mystery.
Yeah. So he said he wasn't feeling well, and as his mum said, there were quite a lot of the under-7s not feeling well because it was so cold. They don't actually know what the symptoms of hypothermia are, apart from the fact that you don't feel well. But he wasn't, but he kept going.
From the international man of mystery. Well survived. Yes.
Yes, well done. Well done, both of you.
Next week. Yes.
Still loving it, which is the most important thing. So
walking rugby. It sounds like there was a good turnout.
Yeah, well, I didn't go because weather wasn't very good, and I'm still not able to do a full session. And the IT department was walking up in the Lake District, and I couldn't be asked, to be honest. I had things to do. Well, also because I looked at the numbers and they'd got about 14 names down to go. So I thought, well, it's not as if they need me now. So, I mean, I know they'll always need me. They won't
know the shape of your D without you.
They won't have any idea of the shape of the D, but I think there's some of them who don't know what the shape of the D is anyway. You know, they don't know what the meaning of it is. No, none of us did, to be honest. It's all just been canned all the way along the line. But there you go. So that's good. So walking, and in fact, on the Saturday week next Saturday at the Coventry game, when it's the community thing, which my family has done a lot of hard work in publicising. They're on every poster.
IT department, Hannah, the whole works. Yeah.
Yeah, International Man of Mystery, looking very serious. Yes, so they Walking Rugby are doing a display of Walking Rugby, I believe, in the barn 12 till 1. So,
excellent.
Go along and have a look.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be there. I might be haloing. I don't know. See what my physio says tomorrow.
Well, we have visitors from afar for the Coventry game.
Oh, you do, don't you? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, big weekend of rugby. But before then, let's go.
Yes.
A trip to Mattioli Woods at Wilford Road for the Premiership Rugby Cup game, the return match against Leicester Tigers. It'll be really interesting to see who plays. Let's hope we have as good a result as we had at the Garden. That was a cracking game of rugby. Good. And let's hope. It sounds like Josh Kemeny just wants to keep playing from the interview.
Oh, good.
With the Cron. Let's just keep playing. So Josh will still be running around, and yes. Bedford, on the other hand, are going to Bath, who their director of rugby is going home to South Africa. He's not going to be coaching next weekend.
Oh, okay. Well, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a development thing for the coaches as well, isn't it? So I guess.
Yes. So Mr. Van Graham is heading home for a few days, and I don't know who's, and frankly, I don't care. But we wish the Blues well. Don't sink in the mud. And bring back the W, as they say, because it'd be very good if you put one over on. It
would be marvellous.
On Bath. Yeah. So, yes. Meanwhile, as we said earlier, Loughborough are off to play Bristol Bears, who had a rather shock defeat at Ealing. This is not following the script.
No, that's not supposed to happen.
That wasn't supposed to happen. So, interesting. We'll see. But they're on a roll now, so come on, let's knock over them Bears. There are a few changes happening already in the PRC. Tom Hudson, I noticed, who was the coach at Leicester Tigers, left today. So already things afoot. But no, I'm really looking forward to. It's a 3:00 kickoff. Unlike the Coventry game, so let's put it out there early, folks. The Coventry game is a 2:45 kickoff.
Yeah,
don't turn up late because the boys need you loud and proud. But I'm really.
That's why I can't do the walking. That's why I can't do the walking rugby demo, because I've got a halo from 12:30.
There you go. Good so as I say, I'm really looking forward to the trip to Mattioli Woods at Welford Road. What a mouthful that is. Partly because it'd been daylight this time.
Oh Yeah, that'd be better for you.
Yes.
We're not coming. I don't think we're coming.
Dr. Jones will be on the terrace.
Yeah. Well, I say we're not coming. You never know with us. We might change our minds, but...
Well, if you do, let us know.
We'll do. What was I going to say?
I don't know any curry houses in Leicester, but if anyone would like to let us know,
There's some very good ones, I believe.
Oh, there are, but I don't know any of them.
No, I don't know where they are. No, let us know.
Let us know in the comments below if you know of any. And so we begin 3 weeks of Premiership Rugby Cup action. I believe Saints have already qualified or about to qualify, whatever. And then it's quarterfinals, semi-finals, and then the final. Should we get there? Week after week. So by the time we come back after the Six Nations, there's a rest week in the week of February the 22nd, which happens to be the last weekend of the Loughborough season. Confusing. And by the time we come back to the Gallagher Premiership, the Premiership Rugby Cup will be done and dusted, and we'll know who the champions are. Good. So we're going to have a busy end to the season, with obviously Clermont visiting in April.
Yeah.
Quite a heavy run-in and the Gallagher Premiership season, and it'll be great as we would expect to see the likes of the Georges back. Hopefully nobody's going to break anybody with England.
Preferably do not.
Do not break Rory.
Don't break Rory. Don't break anybody. Nobody breaks anybody at all. Well, no. Nobody breaks anybody. That's just much easier.
No.
Don't start going with it's all right, Curtis. You can break them if they're Welsh or French or Irish, but that's too confusing. So nobody breaks anybody, please. Nobody breaks anybody. Come home safe.
Good luck to those in the Six Nations, England, Scotland, and in fact for the under-20s, England and Scotland as well, because Ruben is playing this week at the Hive Stadium, but I can't remember who. Italy? Don't know. Yes, I think it's Italy. I do like the Hive Stadium. In fact, I'm really, really keen to shoot there. I'd really love to shoot a Scotland women's match. Really would like to do that because it's such a great little stadium and it's got such a great vibe. But the schedule doesn't work this this season at all. We're at opposite ends of the country and it just doesn't work, which is a real shame.
Just doesn't.
So that was episode 58.
58.
A bit of
a ranty one.
But I think we needed it.
I think needs must sometimes. There's been a lot to rant about.
But lots to celebrate with the Bedford and, of course, the East Midlands. We have the bragging rights for the women's team. So well done, Loughborough. Fabulous performance. And actually, even our performance at Quins, I didn't give us a chance, to be honest. So to come away with 1 point and to be so close to coming away with 4 was just keep going and please support the lads. Nobody goes out there to lose. They're doing their best. They're learning lessons the whole time. We lost such big presences, such big bodies. We've got so many people injured, so many people with England. These lads need our support now more than ever, and not to criticise them because they are 18 and 19. And I don't know about you, but at 18 or 19, if somebody laid into me the way some of these grown-up people, men particularly, lay into some of our younger players, I would never have come out the house again. So pack it in. Think about who you're criticising. That's somebody's son. Yeah.
So stop it.
Pack it in. Get behind the lads, because, it's going to be fun. When you decided to be a Northampton Saints supporter, if you thought it'd been a smooth line, you were deluding yourself. Roller coaster ride. And it doesn't matter which bit of the Saints family, whether it's Loughborough or whether it's the Saints lads, roller coaster ride. And our good friends at Bedford are joining with us, and they have their own slope as well. They brought their own slope along. So, you know, it's all part of the fun. Sport is not about, you know, a linear progression, because if it was, it'd be blooming boring.
Would be. So, right. Anyway, so finish on another rant, and have a lovely week, peeps. And we will. Yeah, the ley lines must be wrong or something. So we'll have a good week, and we will regroup next week and ready for more fun and frolics.
More fun and frolics.
Episode 59. So here it is from episode 58. Bye, everybody.
Bye.